Athena brought up a really good point. Is each quint organized around a theme or around a learner expectation? And before the lower school, it wasn't. So what we found was that, we would talk about learner expectations in advisory, and some teachers did a really great job of talking about them, or felt really strong about one of them, and so did that one a lot, and others maybe didn't, or focused on a different one. There wasn't really any kind of organization, that's the organizational matrix, to how we hit the different learner expectations and to how we covered different social justice themes. So what we were finding was when seniors got to 12th grade, they had this kind of idea of what social justice was, but they couldn't really necessarily talk about too many specific issues or what the various components were, or they might have strengths in certain areas but not in other areas. So we felt it was really important when we were thinking about how the lower school curriculum would be organized that we sort of tried to make a unifying organization for this, for pre-K through 12. So that sparked the development of what we call the organizational matrix. It's a terrible name, but it's what we got, so we'll go with it. So what it is, you'll recognize the questions. You saw those in the learner expectation document. So those did not change. Those are the questions the focus questions for each of the grades for that entire year. That's kind of the big thing that they're thinking about and reflecting on through all of their work and their projects. But what you will notice is that each quint has a specific learner expectation focus and it has a specific social justice theme focus. Okay, so for example, in Quint 1, we focus on collaborator, and in the social justice theme that ties in with that is human diversity and all the different variants of that. It does not mean that we only talk about collaboration in the summer and then we never come back to it. That would obviously be bad. That would be like doing addition in the summer and then you don't really need to know how to add anymore. So it doesn't mean that we only talk about these things in these quints, but it really serves as the focus for that quint, so that we make sure that we have a time that's devoted to really talking about it in depth, talking about what is a collaborator in depth, okay? So each theme does have a learner expectation and a social justice focus with some sub-themes under each social justice theme. So this is the organizational matrix.